The other day, a good friend of mine called and asked if I'd chat with her aunt who's retiring in December. And of course I said yes, and we had a great chat. She's very excited about finally being able to retire, but she did say something to me that made me a bit concerned. She said, I finally arrived. I've done it. Well, I congratulated her and then asked her what she plans to do in her retirement. And there was silence. Nothing. She finally just said that, nothing. I don't want to do anything. I want to relax and do nothing. I've made it to my destination, retirement. Now, if you've seen any of my other videos, you'll know this statement got me right here. You see, I view retirement as a journey, not a destination. And so in today's video, I'm going to talk to you about the 4 phases of retirement and how wanting to do nothing and relaxing is a very, very common feeling when you first retire, but what you can expect after you've been retired for a while. I'm Maureen Dobransky, and this is Life Starts at Retirement. I produce a retirement lifestyle video every Monday morning, and on the first Monday of the month, I produce a Money Minute Monday video where I share with you a money tip in 10 minutes or less. There are typically 2 types of thoughts when you first retire. One is, I'm going to travel, I'm going to golf, I'm going to enjoy life to the fullest. You pull out your bucket list that's probably a bit dusty, and you begin to tick off the things you've always wanted to do. A new boat, check. A cruise, check. Hiking, check. Or just enjoying a good book on a rainy day. Now the other type, or the other school of thought is, I'm going to do nothing. I've worked hard and I want no schedule, no routine, no rules. I just want to sit and relax. No matter which one you are, typically in this stage or this phase, your emotions are positive. You're enjoying your new freedom and your lack of schedule. And I hear over and over again how amazing it is to have a break from the routine. How you can get up when you want, you can do what you want without the stress of a deadline, without a boss bugging you. But interestingly enough, both of these types of people typically wind up in the same stage within a year or 2. They find that they're getting a little bit bored. Like incredibly, it seems like they miss the routine, they miss having a purpose. And if you have a partner, you may find that the honeymoon phase of spending 24 hours a day, 7 days a week together has just worn off a little. You may find that you're longing for some structure. You're longing for a little bit of purpose, a reason to get up, something to fill all those hours. That's when you know you're moving into phase 2. Now, this phase can begin a few weeks to even a few years after retirement. And often in this phase, we experience a little bit of emotional letdown where we come face to face with the reality of our new day-to-day living. We have all of these hours and typically not as much to do in those hours. And after a year or 2, it is a little bit boring. We don't have the direction we used to. We don't have the purpose. We don't have, our previous identity is gone. We don't have the structure. A lot of our relationships are gone and we don't have a real plan to move forward. So we begin to experience all of those losses as phase 1 wears off. It's the loss of our identity, our relationships, our structure, our purpose. And most of us, because we've looked forward to retirement for years and years, most of us didn't see this coming. And so to experience all of these losses at once can be difficult, actually very difficult. And in this phase, a lot of experts or a lot of people talk about what they call the 3 Ds of retirement. They're depression, decline, and divorce. So let's take a look at each one a little bit more in depth. We'll start with depression. So the media talks a lot about work-life balance and how you can become depressed and stressed when you're working. There really isn't much talk about depression when you retire. But there's some interesting research, a lot of it, but this particular one was from the Institute of Economic Affairs that suggests that when you retire, initially there's a big boost to your health because you don't have that stress and you love your downtime. But the longer your retirement goes on to a point, the more you may become depressed. In fact, it found that retirement increases the chances of suffering from clinical depression by around 40%. 40%. And because retirement was supposed to be your golden years, the time of your life you've waited for, you've worked for, many people just don't talk about it. They don't want to mention that, I'm retired, yay, and they're depressed. So the second D was decline. So for many people, retirement is a time to increase their activity, learn new skills, enjoy the fun. But for others, retirement may slow them down both physically and mentally, and then it seems to accelerate the decline of aging. So once again, it's similar to depression. Initially, you boost your health by reducing your stress and increasing your downtime, but your mental and physical decline can happen over time. And then the third D, incredibly, I was shocked, was divorce. The divorce rate for those over 65 has tripled since 1990, to the point where they've even created a nickname for this, the Grey Divorce. The UK has a nickname as well. They call it silver splitters, and even the Japanese are calling it retired husband syndrome. But really, all kidding aside, it's a disturbing fact and something we need to be aware of as we move into retirement. So during phase 2, just be very aware of the 3 Ds and make sure you reach out for help if you need it. At some point, you'll begin to move out of phase 2 and into phase 3. You'll move into a bit of a reevaluation of what retirement means to you. This phase has also been known as the reorientation phase or the trial and error phase, whatever you want to call it. Now is the time to find out really what you love, what makes you tick, what makes you breathe, and what makes you get up in the morning. In this phase, we come to realize it's time to reclaim who we are. Because our work lives have been filled with so many schedules and deadlines and demands, it's time to find you again. Find out what you love. So you do that by asking yourselves a series of questions. Things like, okay, what motivates you? What excites you? What engages you? What do you do well? Maybe what could you teach others? What do you smile about? What inspires you? What did you love about your work? Maybe you need to incorporate something like that back into your life. What do you miss about your work? Something to think about. In this phase, there's no right or there's no wrong answers. But the hope in this phase is once you see what you're missing in your life, what excites you, what motivates you, it's time to find things that will add those things back into your life. It may be as simple as a good book club, maybe a part-time job. It might be going back to work full-time. It might be getting into shape and joining a hiking group. Remember, no right and no wrong. But in this phase, just beware that you'll try a lot of things, and some will work for you and some won't. Some will work for you for today, and then a year from now, you'll want to move on. Be prepared, though, to put yourself out there as much as it feels comfortable for you so that you can try some new things. Many people at this stage that find that volunteering is right for them, but the more you experiment, the more you put yourself out there, the more you try new things, the more you'll find things that you love and that give you that passion and sense of purpose that you want. Now, the last phase is what I call rinse, repeat, and reward. As I mentioned, you'll probably move through these phases to some degree for the rest of your life. You'll find your groove, you'll love it, and you'll go, yes, possibly even for years. And then, I don't know, something will happen and you'll either have to or you'll want to find something else for you. And that's perfectly normal and perfectly fine. So don't be afraid to take some time off again. Try some new things. Ask yourself those questions again. Put yourself out there to get the fun and the rewards. Remember though, I always say retirement really is a journey and not a destination. And these things can make your retirement remarkable. I'm Maureen Dobransky. This is Life Starts at Retirement. Please consider subscribing to the video, and we are growing our Facebook group. Consider joining that at facebook.com/groups/lifestartsaretirement.